everyone. Our topic for today is classes and objects in Python. So, many of you might be aware that Python is an object oriented programming language. The concept of OOP in Python focuses on creating reusable code, which is also known as dry, which implies don't repeat yourself. And this is exactly where classes and objects come into play. Classes are widely used in Python as they allow us to logically group our data and functions in a way that's easy to reuse and also easy to build upon if need be. Classes are basically defined by the user and are a basic structure for an object. And to define a class, you first write class followed by the name of the class. The nomenclature for naming a class is just same as that of naming a general variable in Python, so you don't need to think much about it. In the Furthermore, in the video we would be talking about attributes, and attributes are nothing but the variables that belong to the class, and they are always public and can be accessed using the dot operator. By dot operator I mean to say that if I write the name of the class followed by the name of the followed by dot and then by the name of the attribute, that basically means I'm calling that attribute. Moving on, if you see here in this example, if I run it, you will see that when I print age, it shows me that main.age. Basically, it implies that that age is a class. And if I write here that age.x, showing you the working of the dot operator, it tells me what x is. So here you can see how dot operator works. Moving on to objects, an object is an instantiation of a class. There can be multiple instances of a class, but class attributes remain same for all instances of a specific class. You'll understand more when you see an example. The syntax for object instantiation is quite simple. You just have to write the object name followed by the class it is an instance of. Here is an example for the same. You can see we have first made a class named age. We have made an attribute x equal to 10, and we have made an instance of the class age1 equal to age. Moving on, here's another example for you which will let you know more. So in this class uh, we do have two attributes, id and name, but apart from that we also have a method. Method is nothing but a function defined inside a class. So this display function is nothing but a method for the student class. Then we the initiate the class by the student name. Then we make an instance of the class named stud, and then we call the method inside it by this method. And you can see the output comes as follows. Now we'll move on to self parameter. It is very similar to the pointers in C++ and reference in Java, implying that it is always pointing to the current object. Self represents the instance of the class. By using the self keyword, we can access the attributes and methods of class in Python. You can see more clearly via this example that here we use self and self ours, and as you can see here that as self is a parameter for say marks and studies methods, we get the following output. But if I remove this self, this will give me an error, and I will just show you that because that's how things become more clear. See, say marks take 0 potential arguments but 1 has been given. Hence, I need to use the self parameter. I hope that's clear with you. Moving on, we'll discuss about the init function in detail now. If you're familiar with C++ and Java, you might be aware of the concept of constructors. Init is a very similar function to that. Its basic function is to initialize values of data members of class when an object class is first created. Like methods, a constructor also contains collection of statements that are executed as soon as object of a class is instantiated. You can see via this example, when the moment I write this, my init function is initiated and it runs, and you can see the output as Mike. Similarly, over here you can see that we have given the name as Mike and the city as Bangalore initially, but later we give the city as Mysore because Mike apparently shifts over there, and this proves to us that objects are mutable. Continuing, we'll talk about how to delete object properties, and it's very simple. We just have to use the del keyword over here. Here we use del followed by the name of the object, and this will delete the object, and if I now try to print it, it should give me an error. Let's see, it gives us an error. Now, as we talked earlier, objects are mutable. The state of an object can be changed at any point of time by making changes to its attributes. We saw that earlier. Now we are going to talk about an example program, okay? We have all used calculators a lot, but how fun would it be if we could make one on our own? So today we are going to make a basic calculator on our own with everything that we have learned so far. So first what we do is we make a class named calculator, and first method that we define is the sum, and in that we take the input as a list whose name would be sum list, and just to get the sum of the whole list we just run a loop and we return the sum. Then we define our second method, which is the minus, and here we are taking the first and second elements of that list and we are giving the difference. Then we multiply all the elements in the list by running through a loop, very similar to that of the sum. And the next and the last method that we define is that of divide, and in division we do nothing, we just take fourth and fifth element and we just check that the fifth element is not 0. So we check that our fifth element is not 0, because obviously if it is, then that would be an issue for us. And then and if it is not 0, then we give the division, and we do floor division over here, and we return the result. We make an instance of the method, sorry, we make an instance of the class. Then we take in inputs of all the numbers that we want, we put them in a list, then we call the sum method and print the sum. Then we call the minus method, similarly we call the multiply method, and here we have selected only first four values via this slicing, and then we call the divide method, and you can see here our code works fine. So cool, right, to have your own calculator. I hope this was a fruitful session for you all and hope to see you again. Thank you.